Okay, picture this for a moment. This huge, sprawling network of rivers cutting right through South Asia. They're absolute lifelines for, hundreds of millions of people.
Hmm.
And right at the heart of it, you've got the Indus River, a truly vital source. Which, it brings up a really big question.
Yeah.
How do two nations like India and Pakistan, especially given their, let's say, complex history after partition, how do they actually manage shaping something so critical?
It's fascinating when you look at the geography
Hmm.
and the sheer history involved. The Indus starts way up in the Himalayas, the Tibetan Plateau,
Right.
and it flows, over 3,000 kilometers through China, a bit of India, and then mostly through Pakistan before it finally reaches the Arabian Sea.
Wow.
And along that massive journey, it meets up with those legendary 5 rivers
Yeah.
of the Punjab, the Shalom, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this whole basin, it's nurtured civilizations for thousands of years. It's always been crucial for irrigation, drinking water, generating power, too.
And that deep, long-standing reliance on the Indus. Well, it took on a completely new layer of complexity with the partition of British India in 1947, didn't it?
Absolutely. Suddenly, you had this new border slicing right through this interconnected water system.
Yeah.
The headwaters, the sources of many of these rivers, were now largely in India. But Pakistan, especially its vast farmlands, became incredibly dependent on that water flowing downstream from India.
You can just feel the potential for conflict there, right? Immediate tension over who controls this absolutely essential water. It was a situation crying out for some kind of solution.
Which brings us, inevitably, to the Indus Water Treaty. A really pivotal moment.
Right, the treaty.
Indeed, the Indus Water Treaty. It was signed back on September 19th, 1960 in Karachi. And honestly, it stands as a pretty remarkable piece of diplomacy.
Took a while to get there, I understand.
Oh, yes, years of really intense negotiations. And interestingly, the World Bank played a huge role as a mediator.
The World Bank. That's interesting.
Yeah, a bit unexpected, perhaps, but ultimately very successful. They helped India and Pakistan forge this agreement. And its main goal was, simple in concept, but profound. Set of clear rules for sharing and managing the whole Indus system's waters.
Okay.
The idea was to prevent disputes, basically, and make sure both countries got a predictable, agreed-upon share of water.
So it sounds like a massive undertaking, a really foundational agreement. Let's get into the details. What did it actually do? How did they divide up the water?
Okay, so the core of the treaty, its absolute heart, is the division of the 6 main rivers.
Right, the 5 Punjab rivers plus the Indus itself.
Exactly. So the 3 eastern rivers, that's the Ravi, the Beas, and the Sutlej, they were allocated pretty much entirely to India for its use.
Near complete use, you mean?
Yeah, essentially. India got the right to develop these rivers, build dams, irrigation projects, largely as it saw fit within its territory.
Okay, and the other 3?
The other 3, the western rivers, the Indus itself, the Shalom, and the Chenab, these were mostly allocated to Pakistan. Well, Pakistan got the vast majority of the flow from these. And these rivers, they are the absolute lifeblood of Pakistan's agriculture. Critically important.
It sounds like, just based on volume maybe, Pakistan got the larger share overall. Was that controversial during the talks? Did India feel it was fair?
That's a really good point, and it touches on the give and take of those negotiations. Pakistan certainly received the larger volume via the western rivers. But India's control over those eastern rivers was also really significant. It was a very carefully balanced compromise, trying to meet the essential needs of both countries. The fact they both signed it suggests, a mutual acceptance, even if maybe some parts were accepted, grudgingly.
Okay, so Pakistan gets the bulk of the water from the western rivers, the Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, but those rivers still flow through Indian territory first, right?
They do, yes.
So how does the treaty handle that? What can India actually do with that water while it's still on its side of the border? Does it impact Pakistan's supply?
That's a really critical part of the agreement.
Yeah.
So while the western rivers are mainly for Pakistan, the treaty does give India specific but quite limited rights to use their waters while they're in Indian territory.
Limited how?
The key phrase is non-consumptive use. Essentially, that means India can use the water in ways that don't significantly reduce its volume or, degrade its quality before it flows downstream to Pakistan.
Okay, like what kind of use?
The main thing allowed is generating hydroelectric power, run-of-river projects, basically.
Oh, okay.
And the treaty has very specific technical rules about how these hydro projects must be designed and operated. The whole point is to ensure the water keeps flowing downstream to Pakistan without major interruption or reduction.
So no massive dams for storage, no big irrigation schemes using that Western River water.
Exactly. Large-scale storage reservoirs or diverting that water for extensive irrigation by India on the Indus, Jhelum, or Chenab that's explicitly prohibited by the treaty.
I see.
Now, India's allowed some very minor consumptive uses, things like domestic water use, maybe some very limited local agriculture. But these are capped and aren't meant to substantially affect the overall flow reaching Pakistan. The Permanent Indus Commission, for instance.
Right, I've heard of that.
It's a vital channel. It provides a forum where officials from both countries meet regularly, discuss any projects, raise concerns, and resolve disputes within the treaty's framework. Even during wars, during periods of really high tension between India and Pakistan, both sides have, by and large, stuck to the treaty's core provisions regarding water flow.
Wow.
It suggests there's a deep, mutual understanding, perhaps unspoken sometimes, of just how catastrophic violating it could be.
Yeah.
Water security is fundamental for everyone in that region.
So the treaty isn't just paper. It has real teeth in international law and, I guess, practical consequences that keep it relevant. It's pretty amazing that this agreement from way back in 1960 has actually held up through decades of turbulence.
That is precisely why the Indus Water Treaty is considered so significant and so resilient. Signed September 19th, 1960. It's a powerful example of cooperation surviving even when political relations are strained.
Yeah.
And crucially for those western rivers allocated to Pakistan, their primary water source. The fact it's worked more or less for over 60 years, navigating wars, disputes, it speaks volumes about its importance for regional stability.
Okay, so if we boil it down, the Indus Water Treaty is this incredibly critical and surprisingly durable agreement. It dictates how India and Pakistan share the Indus system's water. And a key takeaway is that for those crucial western rivers flowing to Pakistan, the treaty is designed specifically to stop India from unilaterally cutting off that water for its own major needs.
That's a very good summary. It nails the core function and the treaty's enduring significance. It mandates cooperation, adherence to the water shares, especially ensuring that uninterrupted flow of the western rivers to Pakistan.
It definitely gives us a much clearer picture of a very complex issue. But, thinking about it, this treaty is over 60 years old now. The world's changed, the climate's changing, the geopolitical landscape is always shifting. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Thinking ahead, what are the future challenges? What sort of adaptations might be needed to make sure this vital agreement stays effective and that this absolutely crucial river system can be managed sustainably for everyone in the future? Something for you, the listener, to think about.